Prince Harry didn't spend too long with his father yesterday. A maximum of 45 minutes on the premises at Clarence House. 30 minutes is what the papers are saying was the actual length of the meeting. And this is after not seeing him in at least 9 months.
That's one episode of Friends. I mean, that's not a very long time at all. I completely agree. I do think, though, that it says a lot about Prince Harry that he made the effort. That's an extremely long plane ride. So I'm grateful that he did make the effort to see his father. And I have seen some of the criticism that say it's just a strategy, it's just a PR move, but they've had years to go reconnect with Thomas Markle, and they haven't. I do think that in this particular instance, it's sincere.
Kinsey, I'm so relieved to hear someone say maybe he's doing something sincerely, because you talked about criticism of Prince Harry. There's criticism that he's left his family, and we know the weather is causing some real problems and flooding there, so he's left Meghan and the kids. People saying, oh, you know, you've just flown over for your own optics. It seems to me sometimes that whatever decision Harry or Meghan make, there's opportunity to criticise.
I agree. And I do think that we need to be, especially because of the nature of this story, we need to be a little kinder, because when we tear into Prince Harry, I think it also hurts his father, and his father is dealing with something very traumatic right now. His father and Queen Camilla, they're navigating something very scary. So I have plenty of negative things to say about Prince Harry most of the time, but I do think that in this case, he was there to love on his dad and to reconnect with his dad. And I do hope that they have that moment. When it comes to Prince William, my tone changes, but
we'll come on to Prince William, because that's an entirely separate subject, but a very relevant one. But one thing that struck me about the actual meeting was that it was so short. If you're going to fly 11 hours across the Atlantic to actually be with your dear old Popsy, why then only spend half an hour in his company? Do you think he's going to be having another meeting with him up in Sandringham later?
I mean, I couldn't tell you. What I think happens is that everything Harry gets up to this point is on a need-to-know basis, because what they've realized over the last few years is that he monetizes some of their inside information, their secrets. So I do believe they're very, Prince Harry spent very little time with his family at the coronation because of this exact reason. No one trusted him. There was a bit of a tiff right after Prince Philip's funeral over the Oprah Winfrey interview. So I do believe that the king is very grateful to see Prince Harry and ultimately wants a reunion, but they're all being wildly cautious right now, because it's not just the king's privacy they're trying to protect. They're also trying to protect the Princess of Wales's privacy, which was dramatically invaded in Prince Harry's book Spare, when he went and listed text message by text message between Kate and Meghan.
Yeah, well, we're talking about the sort of wider part of the family. So Prince Harry's here. I don't think we know how long he's going to be staying for. And there's this sort of big question mark. Will he meet with his brother? And it looks like that type of meeting is not on the cards.
Well, Rosie, we do expect Prince Harry and Meghan Markle to head to Canada next week to promote Invictus Games 2025. So I don't expect him to stay for very long, because he's got to get back and get ready for that big trek. Child care, leaving the country, that's a lot of work. So I imagine he's not going to spend very much time there. And it's interesting the different ways that our countries are covering this, because I've seen a lot of Prince William refuses to meet with Prince Harry on your side of the pond. And over here, with outlets that do work with Harry, Harry's appeared on the cover of People magazine in the past, so we know he has a working relationship with them. Their statement is that Prince Harry has no intention of seeing William, which is a very different tone. So it's almost like still those dueling brothers, that the headline's still kind of pitting them against each other.
It is terrible that there is so much bad blood between them. Is it not beholden on William as the senior figure to be the bigger man and say, OK, we probably still have some issues to work out, but let's start to work through them now. This is a time of crisis for the royal family. Let's not forget about that. Should William put his hand out to Harry and say, come on, let's talk about things?
Well, I just watched, I believe it was a psychologist on your program talking about, just during the news break, talking about how in times of crisis, people usually come together. But we have to remember that this is not, we're not just a random surprise. We just had the Princess of Wales in hospital with what abdominal type of surgery we don't know. For Prince William, he might be overwhelmed with the amount of chaos in his life right now. And maybe chaos is an overused word, but he might be overwhelmed with what's going on in his personal and private life right now. If he wants distance from his brother so that he can navigate this very difficult time where his wife is on leave until Easter, he's taking care of the kids more. He might have to step in and appear at a few more engagements to represent his father. I give that to him.
We've just asked our audience whether or not Prince William should meet Prince Harry. Angela has texted in to say Harry has much to atone for and will have to prove he can be trusted. The way the media have been, quotes, informed of his intentions and movements over the past 24 hours is not a good indication that he's interested in reparation.
Jack has said Harry's made his position perfectly clear and rejected every attempt to reconcile by the family. But we'll see how this trip develops. In the meantime, Kinsey, while you're here, we wanted to ask you, because we know California currently right now facing flooding, mudslides, blackouts. The weather has been...
Pineapple Express cometh.
Yeah, has been pretty catastrophic. What can you tell us?
Well, Governor Gavin Newsom declared a state of emergency for most of coastal Southern California on Monday. President Joe Biden promised to provide anything we needed federally. At least 2 people have died as a result of trees falling within the storms, and more than 16 million people are under this high risk of excessive rainfall. Downtown LA alone, which is the beautiful thing you're seeing behind me, received 75% of its annual rainfall in only the second month of 2024, if that gives you any kind of idea of the type of rain we're seeing. And Los Angeles Fire Department receiving more than 300 reports of mudslides since the storm began on Sunday. While we do expect the rain to continue into Wednesday, the storm will break up over the next few days.
Kinsey, thank you so much for an update on everything, well, from the weather to the royal reunion as well. Kinsey speaking to us live there from LA.